Imagine you are like at this insanely crowded club.
Oh yeah, the best kind.
Right. The bass is literally vibrating through the floorboards. The strobe lights are flashing everywhere.
Everyone is just sweating and dancing.
Exactly. And you are screaming the lyrics at the top of your lungs.
He's completely lost in it.
Yeah, it feels like pure, unfiltered euphoria. But then, you actually look at the words you're singing.
Oh man. Yeah. That realization.
Right. You realize the lyrics you're sweating to are actually this like desperate cry about toxic addiction, intense existential dread, and psychological burnout.
It is the ultimate trick mirror.
It really is. That jarring disconnect, that cognitive dissonance is exactly what we are dealing with today. Welcome to this deep dive.
You think you're looking at a party, but you're actually staring right into a therapist's couch.
Exactly. So today we are unpacking one of the most highly anticipated and frankly deceptive projects of the year.
PinkPantheress' massive October 2025 remix album.
Yes, Fancy Some More, which by the way, Pitchfork reviewed and gave a solid 7.6 out of 10.
That is a great score for a remix album.
Right. They praised its swagger and pointed out the sheer, undeniable clout it took for her to gather so many massive artists under one roof.
I mean, the lineup is insane.
We're talking global titans, right? Kylie Minogue, 17, Anita, Zara Larsson.
And then alongside them, you have these underground electronic disruptors like Bleedy and Sega Bodega.
It is just a massive, star-studded victory lap. And today, you are joining us as we dig into a huge stack of sources to figure out what this album is really doing.
We've got the Pitchfork review, Wikipedia track lists, a mountain of lyrics from Genius, behind-the-scenes Q&As.
And even like PinkPantheress' own TikToks.
Yeah.
Which is honestly exactly where our friendly little disagreement begins today.
Oh, here we go.
Well, because you and I walked away from this stack of sources with two completely different albums in our heads.
We really did.
So let me set the stage for you, the listener. I am fully obsessed with the raw, surface-level emotions and just the undeniable bops of this album.
I mean, they are bops, I'll give you that.
They are. You put this on, you dance, you text your ex, you have a great time. It's a vibe.
A slightly toxic vibe, but sure.
It's fast, frenetic, UK club beats, garage and drum and bass that just make you want to move your feet before you even register the words. But my friend here...
I playfully but very firmly disagree with you.
I knew you would.
Because look, if you are just listening to this album to dance, you are missing the entire point of the project.
Am I, though?
Yes. You need to look at the deeply hidden, heavily analyzed meanings behind these remixes to truly appreciate what she and her guests are doing.
Okay.
It's not just a victory lap. It is a psychological excavation of what it means to be young, famous, and just deeply lonely.
Wow, psychological excavation.
So we're inviting you to listen to the evidence today and decide which one of us is right. Are we at a party or are we in therapy?
Okay, well, let's unpack this. And we have to start right at the beginning with track 1, Illegal.
Yes, the perfect starting point.
This song has a few iterations. It features Brazilian superstar Anita, and then later there's a remix with K-pop group 17.
And another one with Nia Archives.
Right. And to me, this just kicks off the album with a wild, slightly paranoid night out.
Okay, how so?
Just look at the literal lyrics. PinkPantheress sings, "I think I smoked enough loud to reach the both of us." And she says, "Here's 20 for you. We're getting high around the corner."
Which is very literal, sure.
And then Anita's verse, she's asking, "Why does being so rich have to be so lethal?" Before just casually dropping, "Let's go to my room, baby."
Classic club track stuff.
Exactly. It is a raw track about doing exactly what you shouldn't be doing on a Friday night.
But what's fascinating here is what happens when you look past the literal substances being mentioned.
Okay.
You have to look at the mechanisms of the lyrics. For anyone who hasn't fallen down the internet rabbit hole, Genius is this website where artists can log on and literally annotate their own lyrics line by line.
Stripping away the mystery.
Exactly. And if we pull from the Genius Q&A, specifically for the 17 remix of Illegal, the artists reveal a completely different layer.
What kind of layer?
The song isn't just about a wild night. It's a metaphor for emotional confusion and neglect.
Wait, neglect?
Yeah.
How do you get neglect from a song that literally goes one after one? Now you're sitting on my bed.
I know it sounds counterintuitive.
That sounds like the opposite of neglect to me. That sounds like, well, company.
Yes, but it's company that feels fundamentally wrong. The Q&A explains that the song likens the return to an unhealthy relationship to relapsing into a literal chemical addiction.
Oh, wow.
When PinkPantheress sings, Then later on, I can feel shame in my head. She isn't talking about a hangover.
She isn't?
No. And when 17's Vernon and Mingyu sing about bad tripping and trying to put things back in their place, they are talking about the toxic cycle of going back to someone who emotionally destroys you.
That is heavy.
The paranoia isn't from getting high. It's the intense, stomach-dropping anxiety of a toxic romance.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's like the dopamine hit of seeing their name on your phone, followed by the immediate crash of realizing you made a terrible mistake.
I hear you. But, isn't that just like eating a whole pizza at 2 a.m. when you know you'll regret it?
A pizza.
Yeah. Sometimes a bad decision is just a bad decision. You're at a party, you see someone you shouldn't text, you text them, boom. Shame in your head the next morning.
I mean, sure, but
I urge you to consider if we are just giving a late-night booty call way too much credit here.
too much credit.
Yeah. Listening to these upbeat remixes and calling them psychological warfare feels like a stretch. It's a really fun dance track produced by Axel Arvid.
But the anxiety is the whole point of the production.
Really?
Yes. That cognitive dissonance we talked about, the fast beat masking the sad lyrics, that's how the artist makes you feel the panic of this situation.
Oh, so the beat is the panic.
Exactly. You are sweating on the dance floor, but you are sweating for the wrong reasons. You are trying to outrun your own brain.
Okay, that is an intense way to look at it.
And naturally, when you try to outrun your problems internally, the next logical step is trying to outrun them geographically.
Ah, which brings us to the literal distance in the next major track, Stateside.
Yes, stateside.
This is where the album gets so glamorous and international. You've got versions with Bladee, Kylie Minogue, Zara Larsson.
Groove Armada too.
Right. And on the surface, this is the ultimate jet-setting romance track. PinkPantheress is singing about tracking a flight, waiting at the bedside, flying intercontinental.
Very glamorous on the surface.
She literally sings, "Maybe you can be my American boy." It's a desperate romantic cinematic track.
What is it?
I think so. And if you want proof that it's lighthearted and fun, just look at her own TikTok.
Oh, the pilot thing.
Yes. She made a whole joke about getting her pilot's license just so she can fly stateside to see a boy whenever she wants. It's cheeky.
It is very cheeky on TikTok. But, you know, a TikTok is a curated persona.
I guess so.
When you look at the architecture of a remix, the guest artist has the power to completely rewrite the emotional truth of the original song.
Okay, I'll buy it. Who rewrites it?
Swedish pop star Zara Larsson does on her verse.
Interesting.
The Genius Q&A confirms she flips the song's meaning entirely, turning it into a harsh look at the dark side of fame and the sacrifices required for a global career.
Wait, how does she rewrite it? Because on the Bladee remix, he just gives us a fun, bouncy geography lesson.
Sure.
He's naming places like Sussex, Yorkshire, and Croydon. It feels like a travel itinerary.
Right. Bladee keeps the surface level bounce, but then Zara Larsson comes in and sings, "All those years I put in for the American dream, is it worth all the work if you can't be here with me?"
Oh, that is definitely a different vibe.
She talks about the reality of flying from Stockholm to LA, leaving her feelings on the plane, and just the hollow experience of missing her Swedish boy over FaceTime.
Over FaceTime, yeah.
And that's how
And she drops this incredibly heavy line. Who knew opening up would make me a headline?
Oof. That's real. She is taking PinkPantheress's romantic fantasy of flying to America and grounding it in the crushing reality of international touring. It's not a vacation. It's about professional isolation.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like when you go on a glamorous work trip,
Exactly.
you post a picture of your business class seat on Instagram so everyone thinks you're living large.
But the reality is,
The reality is you are jet-lagged, deeply exhausted, and eating stale room service alone in a quiet hotel room.
precisely. The hotel door clicks shut, and the silence is deafening.
Wow.
Even Australian pop icon Kylie Minogue touches on this boundary in her version.
What does Kylie say?
The Q&A for Kylie's remix mentions it's about gaining maturity and understanding the very real limits of international attraction.
The logistics of it all.
Exactly. Kylie sings, "Let me be your one international girl." She's bringing decades of industry experience to the track, offering an older, wiser perspective on this desperate need to cross oceans for someone.
It's not just a crush anymore.
No, it's the logistics of loving someone when your life is a global brand.
But if PinkPantheress herself is making TikToks laughing about flying planes to see her American boy, maybe the angst is just an act.
You think it's fake?
Like, she's playing a character who is way more stressed out than she actually is, just to make a good song.
Or maybe the humor is a coping mechanism.
How so?
When you are dealing with the very real burnout Zara Larsson is singing about, Sometimes the only way to process it without completely breaking down is to make a joke out of it for millions of followers.
That's a fair point. Deflection.
Deflection. And that inability to communicate honestly brings us to the next phase of the album, where communication just completely shatters.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting, because that communication breakdown is the beating heart of the tracks Romeo and Stars.
Two of the most fascinating tracks.
Let's look at Romeo first. The original is great, but the remix with UK indie artist Rachel Chinuri is hilarious and just so deeply relatable.
This is a very fun verse.
It sounds like a bouncy song about a failing crush. Rachel's verse is literally about moving on with a new guy, a chauffeur from Paris who helps move her sofa.
Yes, the sofa line.
She says, "I knew you'd be embarrassed, but that's dumb. You let yourself fall in love. Now you have no one." It's incredibly lighthearted.
It is on the surface, yeah.
It's a cute, petty song about a crush that fizzled out because a Parisian guy with a van showed up.
Right, but if we connect this to the bigger picture, you have to look at the other remixes of Romeo.
Okay, hit me with the genius annotations.
The genius Q&As for the versions featuring R&B singer Raven Lenae and DJ Kilimanjaro reveal something much darker underneath the beat.
Darker than a Parisian chauffeur.
Much darker. The title Romeo isn't just a cute pet name for a boy you like. It is a literal reference to Shakespearean tragedy.
Shakespeare.
Yes.
We are bringing 16th century blood feuds into a modern drum and bass remix album.
We are. The Q&A explicitly states that the song draws direct inspiration from Romeo and Juliet.
Wow.
It's exploring the intense, visceral danger of forbidden love. Raven Lenae's version strips away all the sofa-moving jokes and dives straight into topics of internal conflict.
So no Parisian guys with vans.
Nope. It's about the instinct for self-protection, fighting against a magnetic attraction, and ultimately surrendering to a doomed romance despite knowing the immense risks.
That is so fatalistic.
It is. It's about knowing something will destroy you and doing it anyway.
I feel like we are using a very heavy lens here.
Really?
Does invoking Shakespeare give a modern ghosting situation a little too much credit?
I don't think so.
Listening to these upbeat tracks is like putting a Snapchat beauty filter over a crumbling building.
That's a good analogy.
The foundation is just a modern dating annoyance like getting left on red, but the production and these intense themes make it look epic. We aren't all starring in a tragedy.
Well, maybe not objectively.
Sometimes the guy just doesn't text you back because he's playing a video game, not because your families are engaged in a centuries-old war in Morona.
True. But to the person staring at their phone, experiencing the ghosting in real time, it feels like a tragedy.
That's fair. The emotional reality is intense.
That's the magical mechanism of pop music. It validates our emotions by elevating our mundane, everyday heartbreaks to epic, cinematic proportions.
I can see that.
And you see this exact same psychological elevation in the track stars featuring Ives.
Yeah, Stars is another one I'd argue is just a highly relatable song about checking up on a boy and dealing with phone paranoia.
Just casual jealousy.
Yeah. She sings, "Tell me what always keeps you up at night when you said you're dealing with another boy." It's just simple jealousy. You see them online, they aren't texting you, you get jealous.
But the Q&A for the Ives remix highlights that it's actually about the cyclical, inescapable patterns of suspicion that emerge in a failing relationship.
Physical patterns.
Yes, Eve sings in Korean about wandering around aimlessly all night, asking why someone would return if they couldn't even make it halfway.
That is sad.
It's not just a casual check-in on Instagram. It is the exhausting, soul-draining act of waiting in a relationship that you consciously know is built on lies, but you just can't bring yourself to leave.
Okay, so if I'm tracking your logic here,
Tracking my logic, go ahead.
the recurring theme here is that I think these people just need to put their iPhones on Do Not Disturb and go to sleep.
Huh.
And you think they're trapped in an endless, inescapable cycle of Shakespearean torment and addiction.
I think that's a very fair, if slightly reductive, summary.
Well, to really test this theory, we should look at the rest of the album.
Let's do it.
The back half is this eclectic pick and mix of remaining tracks. Let's see if this dynamic of surface-level fun versus hidden dread holds up.
I promise you it does.
So what does this all mean for the rest of the project? Let's take a track like Nice to Know You.
Oh, what a track.
The remix features the legendary Sugar Babes, and there are other versions with Sega Bodega and Lukman and Leod. To me, this is just a simple, sad song about a friendship ending.
Just a friendship.
Yeah. She literally sings, "Wait until the end, tell me we'll stay best friends." And then she complains about being on raid for too long, typing, then gone.
Very literal.
It's about being ghosted by a platonic friend. We've all been there. It hurts, but it's simple.
Surface level, Yes, it's about a friend. But the Q&A for the Sugababes remix shows how they elevate those lyrics significantly.
How so?
The Sugababes take the wheel and turn it into a song about a profound, overwhelming sense of loneliness and the terror of accepting massive life changes.
From a ghosted text.
Listen to the lyrics. They sing, "Nothing's really sane, but everything's amazing, slowly taking over me. Baby, have you noticed the sky is rearranging?"
The sky rearranger.
That is not just about a friend failing to text back. The sky rearranging. That is an existential crisis.
Yeah, that is a bit dramatic for a missed message.
That is the feeling of your entire reality shifting beneath your feet and having no one to ground you.
Okay, that is incredibly heavy. The sky rearranging is definitely beyond a missed text.
Yeah.
But what about Tonight? You've got versions with J.E. from Little Mix, electronic duo Basement Jaxx, and Joe Goddard.
Tonight.
PinkPantheress sings, "I leave my bedroom with my posters of you up. I do this all because you're my superstar."
Sounds innocent enough.
Right. It's literally a song about a celebrity crush. It's the feeling of being a teenager staring at your bedroom wall.
Again, look at the mechanism of the featured artist.
What does Jade do?
Jade's verse entirely shifts the tone from an innocent teenage crush to a deep, mature, and intense sexual tension.
Oh, really?
The Q&A notes that Jade's contribution refers to the all-consuming obsession of intimacy.
Okay, so a bit of a pivot.
She sings, "I know I'm your obsession, I'll be your high, I'll be your pill, your ecstasy."
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not about a poster.
Exactly. She takes that innocent poster-on-the-wall vibe and transforms it into something visceral, physical, and intoxicating.
Okay, I will concede that Jade definitely brings a very mature heat to that track. It's definitely not a teenage bedroom song anymore.
I told you.
But I have one last bullet in the chamber for my surface-level argument,
Let's hear it.
and that is the track noises. This one has a remix with JT from City Girls and another with Mochak. The lyrics are literally about being home alone, hearing a knock at the door, and being scared because your parents aren't home yet.
That is very specific.
It's just a fun, spooky, Halloween-themed track. JT even flaunts her wealth and success on it, saying, "That's how I step on niggas."
Classic JT.
It's a victory lap disguised as a haunted house ride.
You know what? I will give you noises.
Yes, finally.
It is undoubtedly a spooky victory lap. The music video dropped right before Halloween, leaning completely into the fun of it.
So no deep existential dread.
Not really on this one. Even PinkPantheress admitted in a Kiss X-Ray interview that JT's verse was so aggressively good, it was, in her words, beating her ass.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and she actually had to go back into the studio and re-record her own parts just to keep up with JT's energy.
See? I knew it. Sometimes a bop is genuinely just a bop, and there is no hidden Shakespearean blood feud underneath it.
Sometimes. But I think we can both playfully agree to disagree on the philosophy of the album as a whole.
I think we can.
Because honestly, the true brilliance of Fancy Some More is precisely that duality.
It really is.
It is a trick mirror, but it works because it allows you, the listener, to engage with it exactly how you want or need to in that moment.
It really is a choose-your-own-adventure album.
Yes, exactly.
Like, if you are getting ready for a night out, you can just vibe to the garage beats, listen to Blady list off UK cities like a tour guide, and laugh about Rachel Chinuri losing her crush to a Parisian sofa mover.
It serves that purpose perfectly.
Right.
Or, if you're coming home from that same night out feeling empty, you can put on your headphones, read the genius lyrics, and just cry to the deep, tragic undertones of emotional relapse in Illegal.
Or the crushing reality of career burnout in Stateside. So as we wrap up this journey, if you're listening to this and mentally reviewing your own listening habits, maybe thinking about your own Spotify Wrapped.
Oh, that's always a revealing time of year.
Right. You might be realizing how many fun bops you've actually cried to.
More than a few, I'm sure.
We started today by looking at Fancy Some More as just a fun, star-studded victory lap. We saw Pitchfork's 7.6 rating, the swagger, and the sheer audacity of getting Kylie Minogue and Anita on the same track list.
And by digging into the mechanics of the lyrics and the artist's own words, we ended up uncovering layers of intense career burnout.
Toxic emotional relapses.
Existential loneliness, the dark, isolating side of international romance.
It really makes you rethink what you're sweating to on the dance floor.
Actually, this raises an important quote, and it's something I want you to mull over after you finish listening to us today.
Oh, lay it on us.
Think about the mechanics of what a remix actually does.
Okay.
Think about what Zara Larsson did to Stateside, grounding a romantic fantasy into professional burnout.
Or what JD did to Tonight, turning a teenage crush into mature obsession.
Right. If a remix album fundamentally changes the meaning of the original lyrics through the featured artist's new perspectives.
Who really owns the meaning of a song?
Exactly. Is it PinkPantheress, who wrote the original words and created the initial melody?
Or is it the remixer who completely rewrote the emotional truth of the track with one verse?
Or is it you, the listener, who ultimately decides whether to dance to the heavy bass or cry to the heavy metaphor?
Whoa! So are we dancing on a therapist's couch or are we just at a really good party?
I guess that is entirely up to you.